Does anybody have a question? I'll just turn on the chat. Is there anybody who has any questions? Again, remember, no question is we need to answer we need to ask questions because lots of people. I don't want to say it rudely or anything. You got to unmute yourself and participate. That's the best way of learning. Um, that's the way I learn the most. And doing these calls teaches you lots, right, Leah?
It's true, absolutely. And I think a lot of times too, people ask a question that, maybe other people didn't think to ask, but it can still help other people as well. So good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. 17 people with us this morning. This is fantastic. Thank you, Mike, for taking a few moments to share as well. And I hope that these dogs are calm enough that I can show you guys some good stuff today. I'm sorry, they're a little bit unruly at the moment, but they're just having fun. They're just puppies. So this morning I wanted to go over things that are maybe a little bit more advanced. I know that a lot of the people that are on here are part of our normal morning calls. And cooking breakfast. I would like breakfast also. It's nice to see everybody on here. And I know that for me, I actually started trading on TradingView a while ago, and it's been really helpful for me. And I know a lot of people have questions about it. So I wanted to cover some of that today. And then if there's any additional questions, something that Derek asked me to cover yesterday after the call was how to practice adjusting the degree of zoom for your candles, and tips for making it like most useful for conveying information. I'm going to have to pause myself again. I'm sorry, one moment.
I think we're all sitting here wanting to take that train.
Okay. Sorry, I just put them outside. I'll only have to run if one of them goes into the pool. So yeah, one of the reasons that I found it really useful to begin trading directly on TradingView is because I have a little bit of dyslexia with numbers. And so I don't know if you guys ever feel like when you're trying to change your stop loss or something on your phone and the ticker's moving really quickly. For me, that causes me some anxiety. And then I'll often put in a wrong number. And so sometimes it's really good. Sometimes I get taken out of the trade immediately because I put it wrong, or that ticker's moving so fast that I just couldn't really respond, in that moment. Whereas trading directly on my screen allows me to move and manipulate things how I like them visually versus numerically. So one of the first things I want to do with you guys this morning is show you how to open up a demo trading account with TradingView. And you can do that in this little panel down here. Actually, I'll log out of it because I'm logged into one. So at the bottom of your screen, you can scroll this up, and trading panel is where you can see all of the different brokers that have feeds to TradingView. And this paper trading one allows you to open up a free demo account live right on your screen, and it's active. You can use it right away. So if you click on it, say connect, it's going to open you up with, oh, this is logging into a different one I had. I think it starts you typically with $100,000. If you want to reset that, you go here, the little drop down beside paper trading, and you say reset paper trading account. So you can adjust the balance if you want it to be more in line with something that you would actually be trading, which is what most educators recommend. Start your account with something that's more in line with how you would actually fund your account. And Teresa even talks about not even if you have the ability to, don't necessarily fund your account with a lot of money to begin with, because you need to learn to overcome the mental part of losing higher values of money, and also gaining higher values of money. So I'll reset this one there. So you can see now this account has a balance of $3,000, and I can use this to trade directly on my screen here. There are options to show buy sell buttons. So if you right click on your screen up at the top here, you get some different pieces of information that you can show on your screen. So like open, high, low, close, we all know that. And then show buy and sell buttons. And I think this ties into one of the questions yesterday about how do I show my spread on my screen again. And so if you don't have those buttons on, you can't see it. But if you do, then it's right up there on your screen. And I'm using Bitcoin because it's actually moving today. It's weird to me that it actually has no spread. Normally it's very high, but I think on some of the other weekend workshops that Teresa has done, we've just used Bitcoin because it's moving, and I want to be able to show you guys some things. So let's see. So we've opened our account, our high low. Oh, how we can change our lot size. There's a couple of different ways that we can do it. This little gray box in the middle of our buy and sell buttons, that's where you can change your lot size, and you can do it by whatever the symbol will allow you. So this one, when we ask, how do we find our minimal contract size or minimal volume? This one, it's only allowing me to play in, what am I trying to say? Like 1.0 is the minimal volume for this particular symbol on this particular broker. And whatever symbol you use, whomever the source is from, that's where it's taking the feed from. And so sometimes, like if you're trading on a live account, but you go onto a symbol that's not your symbol, it'll give you an error and say that it's incorrect. So just know that if you do end up deciding to fund a broker that allows you to trade directly on TradingView. So just for interest's sake, oops, yeah, if this continues the way it is, it's a little MES on the 1 minute on Bitcoin. And at the close of this candle, I'll show you how easy it is to buy this. We're going to wait for the candle to close in about 14 seconds. And I'm going to simply click this button. It's important to have already done all of your lot size calculations and your risk management, know what you're supposed to be trading for your lot size on any given symbol. Okay, so it closed. So I don't have a stop loss in currently, but in order to put one in, I can move it manually. And if I wanted to put a take profit in, I can also move that manually. I'm going to draw a fib on this candle really quickly and show you guys how easy it is to just move and manipulate pieces of your trade. And so I'll just go by following simple rules. So after price has touched TP1, and when the yellow EMA moves up above my entry price, I can move my stop loss on my screen. Okay, so at the close of that candle, it's now above my entry. And I'm showing these in percentages. You can actually change them as well. Not by clicking that in your trading screen. Trade settings, you can change it by percentage, you can say by money, you can say by ticks. So you can see currently, oh, I only changed one of them, not both of them. but that's how much my trade is in profit currently. And if you hover over them also, it will tell you how many dollars you would earn if your trade goes to TP4 or wherever you set your take profit. It will also show you the amount that is in your stop loss if you just hover over it. So sometimes for trading on the screen with everybody, you know, when you want to be compliant, you want to show it in percentages, not in dollars, but you can see that you can change those things on there. Can I repeat how to set up the TradingView paper trading? Too fast. Absolutely. Okay, so down here is your trading panel. It'll say trading panel if you're not logged in. And you just click connect. So look for paper trading. Just like yesterday when I like to put stars on the things that are my favorites, I star them so that they're always at the front for me, and then say connect. And then resetting it, you go to this drop down beside where it says paper trading, and you would reset the dollar value if you want it to be something different than what they start you with, which is normally $100,000. Because we want to get used to trading with realistic numbers, then we typically want to change that to something that's a little bit more in line with what we would actually fund a trading account with. Does that help you, Stephanie? Excellent. Okay. And just like,
What symbol are, oh, sorry, Leah, what symbol are you on, just so I can follow on my trading view?
I'm on BTC USD on,
Yeah, it's not showing up on, for some unknown reason, it's not showing up
oh,
for me.
maybe do you have it set in
East,
here in your symbol search to something other than all or crypto?
we got it. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
Uh,
Okay.
it
Oh,
doesn't, this goes to index. Now let's try that one.
if you're on
Bitcoin.
indices only, it won't show you other symbols. But if you're on all or crypto, you can find BTC USD.
Excellent. Thank you.
So
We're
as you
good.
can see, excellent. This big candle just closed down and took me out of the trade, and it hit our stop loss. Where you see the spread is up here between your buy sell buttons. So if you don't have buy sell buttons on your screen, come up here to where it talks about the symbol you're reviewing, right click and say show buy sell buttons. When it's off, they're not there. When it's on, the spread is back between the buy and sell buttons. And these buy sell also, they're one click up here. If you have not enabled one click trading, you may get something pop up on your screen that says you have to approve one click trading. So I think because I've done it already a long time ago, it won't ask me again. But just know if you guys see that error or that like warning, that's what it's asking you about. And okay, so let's review that trade. So we're going to go to paper trading history. And now you can see information about the trade. I often like to go to what was filled because as you can see, this trade, it didn't execute. And I'm only interested in what has actually happened. So I go to filled orders, and it's like Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's similar in trading and in the market. For every time that you sell something, someone has to buy it. And every time that you buy something, someone has to sell it. So we had a stop loss in, and let me see here. So you can see I gained $1.51 on that trade. My history, the difference between price. Look at the fill price. Sometimes on the broker that I actually use, it will tell you what my stop loss value is. And then it will also tell me what the fill price was. And so I can see the difference between those numbers, tell me whether or not there was any slippage. Sometimes it's in my favor, sometimes it's against me. But you know, one of the things that Teresa always says too is that people only seem to complain or get upset about it when it goes against them. But I actually had a trade last week that the candle moved so fast. I had slippage of about 12 points in my favor, so I was glad for that one. And so this is one of the things as well that people get a little bit frustrated with, is that you have to know what happened first. So you can see the time I entered this trade. If I want to click it so that the first thing that happened is at the bottom, so it's oldest, or newest to oldest in chronological order, then I can see that that trade, I bought it at 9:12:05 and then got stopped out at 9:12:14. So it will also tell you how you executed the trade. So this one hit my stop. If I had closed it manually, it would say manual, and we'll be able to do a few more there, but I just want to show you where you can find information about your trade and then your fill price. So this is where it closed. So yeah, I gained 1.5 points on that basically. Okay, sorry, I want to go back to what Derek was asking about setting up your candles or setting up your view so that you can execute the things that you want to do quickly. So I really like to have things quite zoomed in. And yesterday I was having a hard time seeing these prices because I had it so zoomed out. One of the fastest ways that I can change the resolution of what I'm seeing is to hold down Control and somewhere on the side of this, not on my actual chart, because that will just zoom the chart portion, but I can scroll up or scroll down to change the resolution and see a little bit more on my screen. So that's the Control button, and then using my scroll wheel. Other people will use zoom settings for their actual just screen. You can change how zoomed in you have something up here in your little hamburger menu. That's the little 3 dots there. So find whatever works best for your eyeballs, and also you know, gives you sort of the most access to your screen. I have a little bit bad eyesight currently, so I like to have it quite zoomed in. And one of the other things that I do as well, when I'm actually like live trading on my screen, I'll have a lot of the candles that are closer to me just on the screen, and I don't really care so much about what's happened back there because I'm also looking at the 5-minute, so I can see structure over here. I can see you know, if maybe there's a master candle on the 5, then I'll know there was probably consolidation on the 1. And then also for live trading with Teresa, and I have her screen beside me as well, she's usually zoomed out a little bit more, but for being able to see at a glance, I just like it big enough that I can see what's going on with the candles. Oh, one other thing, Mike does this and I do this too, and I don't know why it's not doing it on this screen, but I like to change the opacity of the body of my candles to be a little bit transparent so that I can see where the AMAs have crossed behind my candles, and not just have to look up at the top and see what were the values on them, but I can see, okay, it looks like, you know, here this happened, and I like to be able to see through the candles to do that. And that's just a preference thing. Everybody, where do I change the opacity? So I can double click on my candles, go to the body section, and where the color is down here at the bottom, I can change the opacity to, I like 65. And then I say, okay, or I can apply to all also. You like transparent candles also? Yeah. Yes, seeing if it's actually crossed more quickly, even though it might not register the value until the next candle, I like to be able to see what's going on as well, especially when you're trying to predict what kind of trades might come up for us. And I really like to, I don't really like even a TDI crossing on its own, I like to see the shift also. It's kind of like additional confirmation for me because I've seen so many times where, like here, for instance, it shifted down and then it shifted back up and then it shifted back down. And so there was really no movement in there. And to me, that tells me that's really consolidation, not where I want to be trading. So I hope that helps a little bit for answering your question, Derek. And I want to show you guys over on this side, this little up arrow, down arrow, that's another order panel for trading directly on your screen. And it always starts you on a limit order. So be aware of that, that if you're wanting to use this section for entering market executions, you have to move over to market. This is another area where I like to take advantage of, you know, recognizing maybe where my last fractal was and setting stop losses beforehand, because I can tell it if I already know on a, say on a buy, right? We'll be looking to buy here. If I already know where the last fractals are, I can tell it where I want my stop loss to be. And because this one here has some EMAs directly below it, maybe I would, now I'll use the next lowest one. I might tell it that I want my stop loss to be 21244. Oops. And then I can also tell it how much I want to risk on that trade, and it will calculate my stop loss based on where price moves from away from that stop loss in real time.
So, Leah, I have a question. Actually,
Yeah.
there's two questions. There's a question in the chat. How do you add the 5-minute screen? If you could just show that quickly again.
Absolutely.
The
So
the
that's
second screen, right?
the second screen, yes. So
Yeah, that's perfect.
you can only do this with a paid membership. Otherwise, you'll have one screen view. If you have a paid membership, you can have two, or depending on the level of your membership, you can have quads, or whatever. But if you have only a free version, then I recommend opening another tab and kind of minimizing your screen so you can pull one beside the other one. And then you can open one instance of TradingView over here. Where's my chart? Oh my gosh. Okay.
This is how I did it for just about, I've only had it for 1 year, so I did it for a year and a half, exactly how Leah's just showing you guys. One beside the other. If you watch Jake, Jake is one beside the other.
So this way I have a 1 minute over here and a 5 minute over here. And so again, just adjust it how you like to see it, whatever it is that you want to have visible for you on your screen. But that's a good way to do it for people who don't yet have a paid membership. And if you're considering getting a paid membership, I do recommend waiting until after when Black Friday comes. TradingView has a really aggressive sale that's like 50 to 60% off, depending, and it's for an annual package. Be clear on that. It's you have free for now. Perfect. Oh, Teresa.
Yeah, free for now, and they'll be emailing anybody who does it right now. They'll be emailing you. Obviously, Thanksgiving or Black Friday is coming up really quick. That's how I did it last year. Plus, they gave me a free month, so mine doesn't even actually renew for like 13 months. So, and I would think at that time, or I'll look at Black Friday, see if I can maybe upgrade one, depending on what the price is, right? My question was when I'm trading, so when I move my stop loss and my take profit, it's still asking me to confirm it. And I noticed when you did it, it didn't ask you to confirm it. How would I turn that off with what I have on
Yes.
now?
So I think that that is part of that one click. Let's go into our trade settings and
That's on
instant
paper
order
trading.
placements.
Sorry, just hang on. So where did you go to find trade settings? I apologize.
Okay, so I went into my trading panel. I moved it up. And then I opened the drop down arrow next to the paper trading broker. And then trade settings is one of the options I get to see on here. This is where I also can change.
I love it. Excellent. And then what do we push so that we don't have to confirm it each time?
I believe it's instant order placement.
Excellent. And then you have, oh, there's okay. I see the spread and the lot size now up there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I learned something again. I love this. I am grateful, Leah, that you are teaching this.
Aw. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your knowledge as well.
I won't tell you how many trades I have on that and didn't figure that out. So again, that's another educational thing is if you don't try, you'll never learn. Obviously, Leah's either watched something, tried something, heard it from someone else. That's why these calls are so important. So once again, thank you.
Okay, Stephanie wants me to go through the trade again. Are you meaning the trade I took previously, looking at the history, or an actual live trade, a new trade? Okay, so I want to wait for something to set up because I don't want to do my previous MO and just click things for no good reason. And you can see as well, like when I change
There's a
between one
person with
trade
patience.
and two, it really changes the resolution and the size of my candles and how much I see on my chart. So sometimes if you're only viewing one, you might want to make some other adjustments. All right, so if this next candle engulfs and closes below all of these EMAs, there's all of these wicks pointing down, showing us selling pressure. It's really not a great place to sell because we're VBCing in on the TDI, but I just want to show you guys a live trade again. So the simplest way, of course, is to just use these buy and sell buttons up here. But if you want to tell it where your stop loss is going to be ahead of time, why don't we wait for a buy? Because that's actually what we should be doing, I think. So I'm going to tell it again. I'm going to go to market. I want to click on my stop loss so that I'm entering my trade with a stop loss in place. And I can already see that the lowest fractal low available to me on the screen is over here. So what is the low of that candle? It's 21241. My current spread is nothing on this, but I'll use 3. So I would go 21238 would be where my stop loss will go. And again, I'll only want to be risking 2% of my account. So if price moves well above that, then it will change my lot size to be smaller so that I'm not over leveraging in this trade. If we get a TDI shift and an EMA shift at the same time, perhaps on this candle, that would be a true shift and it would be an entry. If we don't, then we'll wait for those shifts, at least one of them to happen before we enter our trade. And in 3 minutes on the 5 minute, we may have a bullish engulfing candle going back up. Oh, no, it might cause a trend shift on the 5 minute. So we did not get a TDI shift or an EMA shift on the 1 minute, but we could do that on this next candle. And if that happens, you can see here my lot size has changed. Again, to only allow me to risk 2% based on where my stop loss is. That's a bit aggressive. So only 9 points, but it looks so much bigger because this was a 1-point candle. So in 21 seconds, if this candle closes the way it is, it may cause the TDIs and EMA to shift. And just for the sake of demonstration, no, okay, it doesn't look like it's going to cause the shift. Let me look over here. It did not. No. Okay, so this candle, we're just being patient. And you'll see the difference between this trade execution, how it'll put the stop loss in automatically rather than execute a trade and not have a stop loss in place already. And again, this is one of the things that people ask, like, how do you know where to put your stop loss sometimes? And because these candles have already printed, we can already see where the previous fractal low is. So even though these other candles were painting, so now we have a TDI shift down. So I won't be looking for a buy currently. I'm going to wait for something to set up for me. How do you keep your risk at 2%? Yours keeps fluctuating. So if you set your stop loss to be based on a price, then it won't fluctuate. If you have set your stop loss to just be like 2% risk or 30 points or something like that, then it's going to fluctuate. But because my stop loss is a set price, it's not fluctuating. My lot size will fluctuate, but my total risk is not going to fluctuate. It does a little bit because it's rounding, but it won't over leverage me. Does that make sense?
So you could pick either one of them boxes. You could pick ticks, you could pick a number, or you can pick a percentage, correct?
Correct, yes.
So if you put 2%, you would never risk more than 2% wherever you took that trade at.
Yes, but other things would fluctuate. So you might not have an accurate stop loss then, because it wouldn't be based on a number, or like I could even tell it if I only ever wanted to use a 30-point stop loss, then I could put that in, and then my the price of where my stop loss is going to paint, that will be fluctuating. But I don't want it to fluctuate.
Yeah,
I want it to stay.
Yeah, so when you did that, the price number fluctuated.
Yes. 2, 1, 8. Yes. Okay. So that one closed above. It did not TDI shift. It has already EMA shifted. I'm going to wait for the close of this candle. If we get another TDI shift up, then I'll be interested in taking this trade. So I'm going to again keep it so that my stop loss is based on price, because that's what I want it to be. It needs to be below those fractals. Man, it just wants to consolidate along the aqua. Not let me show you guys. Ticks are not the same as pips. Ticks is like every little movement that a candle makes throughout the movement of a candle.
So in this case, the ticks are pipettes, right? So you move it to the two decimal places over, would give you an 18 point.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little bit tricky and misleading for people. You're right. That is in pipettes. Okay. Do we have a...
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I just had seen when you had placed, when you're going to do 30 points, that you had placed it as 3,000. So I had said pips, but really, thank you, Mike. That is pipettes, isn't it? It's the smaller.
Yeah, you have to get used.
Yeah.
You have to get used to that. That's for sure. It's smaller than what we think, right? So,
okay.
and I don't know if there's a setting you can change that. That would be nice, but I don't think there is. I think that's how they read it, for sure.
That's okay. Once the person knows, then you just know how to do that calculation. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. There are some settings that you can change in here. I'm not going to play with them right this minute. So I'm going to wait and see if this sets up and does what we think it might do. But this is each broker that I've ever seen on here as well can display things a little bit differently. So sometimes if you get used to one being in pipettes and then you go on to another broker, it might be in pips, which is still different than points. So just again, being aware of what the broker you're using, understanding what your current leverage is, doing your lot size calculation prior to taking any of these trades. I do not rely on this solely. I still do my math every morning to make sure that I'm not over leveraging. Yes, thank you. And so that's one of the things that Teresa teaches us as well, is that, you know, if you suddenly you're in a trade and you realize that you're risking more than you need to be, then somewhere a calculation has gone wrong. And so I'm not going to be relying solely on technology. I need to know that I'm still under my 2% risk for each trade that I enter. So now we have a new fractal that's moved up, and just because this is Bitcoin and it's volatile and it's consolidating along this area, I'm still going to stay below this fractal for this entry. We still haven't had a candle shift up on the TDI, but this one could potentially do that for us in about 44 seconds.
One thing that I thought was kind of noteworthy is that when you did take the trade earlier and then you manually moved the stop loss, it caused quite a strong moment for myself when I moved my stop loss right on top of my entry, and then I was unable to grab the stop loss again.
Yes. So I'll show you how to manipulate that in other ways if we can ever get a trade set up for us.
Perfect.
And another thing to be aware of, if you're using this for calculating like where your stop loss is and you're interested in either a buy or a sell, just know that if you switch over now, you need to have the new fractal that you're going to change your stop loss to for a sell position. So make sure that that you know what those numbers are ahead of time if you're going to, you know, move between both. I just want to be able to take a trade to show you guys. I could have taken that as a sell. There's a TDI shift down and EMA shift down. But all right, so let's figure out what is our fractal here. So the high is 21,260, and I'm using 3 as my spread. So I'm going to say 21,263. So now I have a stop loss for my sell, and I want to risk 2% up here. And to get it to stick, sometimes I notice that some people are saying, well, it didn't change. My lot size stayed the same. I like to tell it something, and then I just click outside of that box and it kind of cements it. Don't hit enter. If you hit enter, sometimes it could put you into a trade. I've never done that myself. No, I've done that. So just be aware of what you're clicking. Also, if you're using this one over here and you're making an adjustment, click outside of it. Oh, it didn't accept it. But that's probably because I have my risk over here. Okay. In about 3 minutes, on the 5-minute, if I don't get something set up. Oh, okay, actually we might have. It's just consolidating. I want to get enough movement that I can actually show you guys, you know, hopefully stay in a trade long enough to show you how to make other kinds of changes. And what Shelly just brought up is a really, really good point. Sometimes if you move to break even, then your stop loss is competing with the same space that your trade entry is at. And so it can be very stressful if you suddenly realize that you can't adjust your stop loss anymore. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to buy. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I just want to be able to show you guys. I didn't want to take a sell there because we're right at those EMAs. Sorry, go ahead.
You're practicing your patience. I say you're practicing patience, right? And following your rules. So that teaches us plenty right there.
2166. Okay, let's go for a sell. 2166. 6, 8. All right. Unless we get an entry on the 1 minute, I'm going to be looking for an entry here on the 5 with an EMA shift candle in 1 minute. And so even as candles are moving, like I'm kind of, for me, because I like to see what's going on and where things might go, I move this around quite a bit, but I'm trying not to, like I always want to keep certain things in view for me. But yeah, I don't like my candles to be too small or squished because I want to be able to, especially because I have a little bit of bad eyesight, want to be able to draw the fibs as quickly as I can. Okay, so 6 seconds, if this closes where it is, it should cause the EMA shift. And I can either enter or wait for a bit of a pullback. Oh, well, apparently I'm waiting for a pullback. It might not give us one. So I might have missed that entry. All right. So there's my stop loss. It's in place. You can see it on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. And until this goes into profit, I can't move it, but I'll put it at break even so that you guys can see what happens if I lay it right on top of my entry. And because it was an EMA shift candle, I don't really get to draw a fib. I could a little bit because this is, no.
So once you're in a trade, that order panel on the right really holds no purpose. You don't adjust anything in there, that can just be closed.
Well, you can, see, I could, actually, I'll just show you this way. So I can right click on my stop loss, which is what I could even do if it was over here and it was overlapping my entry. And I can say modify order. And it'll take me into this screen where I can modify my stop loss. So if you had it over your entry price, you could tell it the new price that you want it to move your stop loss to. So maybe I want to move it to 30. And I could say modify, and then it's going to move it for me. So if it was over top of, as you can see now, you're like, oh yeah, it's stuck. I can't really see or manipulate this. You can also go to your 5 minute, and if it doesn't fully overlap it, you could use it on your 5 minute and move it that way. Or like I said, modify your screen and change the price. You can tell it by how many ticks to trail by. Yeah, can you share a little bit about that, Teresa? Because I have not been able to successfully do that in the past. I've actually closed myself out by doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that you could just change the number of ticks to be, like, if you wanted to change it to be 10 points above price, that you could change it to 1,000 and it would move to 10 points above price.
Oh, yes. And I have used this as well, the percentage. So I don't know how to make it automatically trail. I think that's something that you showed me before on an app for one particular broker, but I didn't manage to do that right. But yes, you can change any of these pieces of information. So risking 1%, the stop loss is moved up, or change it by price, or change it by number of ticks.
So many aha moments. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. And you can do the same thing with modifying your order if you wanted to set a take profit as well. You can set that in there. Some brokers also will allow you to change it by price. So sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, I'm $5 in profit and I want to save $1 of that or something. If you're just messing around with it. And if it's no different, you can just close that out as well and it won't change anything unless you've modified it. And you can see as well, so this is one of the nice things when you're trading on TradingView as well. It will show you with little candles indicating where you took some trades. And so this is where I sold on this candle and I got stopped out on this candle. So it's like, again, the inverse relationship, the sell and the buy. So my history, again, I like to make sure that it's organized so that the oldest is at the bottom and the newest is at the top. And so I can see again, this was my sell, possible W setting up. Okay, let's have a look here. So again, remembering from yesterday, since we made our line graph a favorite, if we wanted to switch between our line and our candles, we can just click it up there. Also, if you don't say want like as much of the 5-minute on your chart, but you want more 1 minute, you can drag this over. So you don't need to give as much real estate to the things that aren't as important to you. Okay, if we want to look for a buy, here's our fractal low, below that candle, 218. So I'm going to do a buy with my stop loss at 2. What was I here? 218, so 215. Risking 2%. Oh, remember it moves you to limit, so make sure you go to market. Oops. Also, keep an eye on which one you're clicked on. That's what I did. I changed the 5-minute and I thought I was changing the 1 minute. I have an audience outside waiting to come back in. Hopefully they've run off all their sillies. Sorry, guys. I don't know what to say.
You are doing wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Is there a list of brokers that support trading directly on TradingView? Practice with paper trading account, have not done any live trading on TradingView. The broker you signed up with does not support TradingView. So yes, Deanna, if you come down here into the trading panel, when you're logged out, you can see all the different brokers that are available and have feeds to TradingView. Not all of them accept clients from all countries. So be aware of that, but you can have a look through and see which support trading directly on TradingView. Okay. 15. What is the blue arrow? I've seen it on my chart and not sure what it is. This blue arrow down at the bottom Is that what you're mentioning, Yvonne? Okay, perfect. So that is where I got stopped out on that trade. And so it prints a little arrow because in a sell position, in order to close that, it'll buy position out. So this is where I took the sell, and this is where I took the buy. Rwanda is not supported in Alberta, and 8 cap has no demo. So I've actually found that, okay, I'm going to enter actually because we had an EMA shift there. Right, so Rwanda, I think you also have to be considered an accredited investor to open an account with them also. And then of course they have their own rules about who they accept from what provinces. I know that Alberta has some restrictions and Ontario has some restrictions. I believe there's even some that have restrictions for Saskatchewan and BC. So it's a good idea to just, check out different ones. 8 cap has no demo. That was what I was going to talk about. So I've actually found of the brokers that I've tried, none of them offer a demo account on TradingView. You have to fund it in order to trade with them on TradingView. I could be wrong, but that's been my experience so far. Though they do offer demo accounts for trading on MT5 or MT4 if they have support for MT4. One of the nice things that I found with 8 cap, for instance, is that the minimal volume that they allow you to trade with are what's called nano lots. And so you can trade with like a 0.00 or 0.01 minimal lot size. And I could fund the account. I think $100 was the minimum. So it allowed me to practice a little bit with a very, very small account, and it didn't stress me out too much or whatever as I was trying to become familiar with it.
We are in consolidation.
We sure are. What else can I show you about being in a live trade? Great rating. Oh, yeah. The reversal option. Okay, good point. So again, I found that this is not available on every broker. But if you're in a trade and you want to reverse the position, like something goes against you before it maybe hits your stop loss, maybe there's a new entry, you could literally just click this button on here and it will close you out of the one position and put you into another. So remember, in a buy, well, now we're in a buy that's actually maybe going somewhere. If it were to swing around the other way, we could take the opposite trade.
You
Maybe just for practice sake, I'll draw a fib on this one because it did engulf. You can see where that might like to go, hopefully somewhere. So let's modify my stop loss over here instead of just dragging it. So maybe I want to be a little bit above my price. 212, we'll call it 45. And so now, even though it's going to put me into profit, it tells me like a little negative number because now I'm not losing that amount. If that makes any sense to you guys. So when you're in profit, these are going to have negative values in your stop loss. And so again, like sometimes we're watching things and then Teresa will say, oh, okay, that moved really quick. You might want to capture some of those points. when my stop loss is dropped, if I just drag it around until I drop it again, it's not saved. So my old stop loss, wherever that was, if it gets hit, it will still be active. And it remains active until I drop my stop loss, and it registers that it has moved it. Sometimes it will say failed to place stop loss. And so then it would be in the old place where it used to exist. What else can I share with you guys?
Hi, Leah. Can you show us how to get that right panel that you have where you're putting in all your data? I can't seem to get it up on my screen.
Okay, so it's these two little arrows on the side of your screen and up, down. And if you just
I see.
hover over, it tells you what they are. So it's telling me now that it's an order panel. So if
Order
you're ever,
panel?
yeah. Are you logged into your paper trading account?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, so order panel, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Deanna, I think it can be very useful sometimes. I was surprised when it wasn't available on one of the other brokers that I tried. And so using it on paper trading, it's interesting to get used to it. Global Prime does offer that little reverse option. 8cap does not. Does anybody have any additional questions that might not be related to trading on the screen? Just because we're moving all in consolidation here, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to continue to show you guys on here.
I have a question. I was actually just going to type it in. So Leah, maybe you covered this yesterday. I just didn't get a chance to get onto yesterday's session. I'm curious about the setting for the shift alerts. I cannot seem to get mine set correctly. And I think I may still have it set to the old settings because at one time my alerts worked correctly. And now it seems like the alert goes off, but it's not near the shift. It's not, so I think remember how those, at some point there was a change with that slow and fast moving setting. And now I'm confused with which way it needs to be.
Definitely.
Okay.
So what Deanna's referring to is that there are some people who their settings on their DeLorean TDI, the language is reversed. So I don't know if it's been updated or if mine's just an old version and other people have something different. But the fast moving average is set to 2. So just know that 2, the average of 2 candles is faster than the average of 7 candles for a moving average. So if your language is reversed on that and it says slow next to the 2, then when you're setting an alert, you have to tell it that you want it to be when the slow moving average crosses. But if it's correct, like how mine is, it says a fast moving average is 2 and the slow moving average is 7. So that's the first thing to note.
So where did you check that? Sorry, I was a little bit behind. I opened my screen a little late. So
That's
you
okay.
checked that you're down in the TDI area, correct? Oh,
Yeah.
on settings there. Oh, okay, I did a right click. That's why I think mine was a different setting.
Yeah, so I
Find
just
that.
click the little gear for settings, and then it brings up my input, my style, visibility.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, I was just in the wrong spot. Okay.
No
And
problem.
now you're on inputs. Okay.
Yeah.
So mine is showing fast MA on RSI 7, slow MA on RSI 2.
Okay. So
Mine's the
yours,
reverse of yours.
yeah. And so for you, because you need it to be when the 2 crosses the middle band, you'll be telling it when your slow moving average crosses over. And so we'll go into how you can set
Okay,
it
let's
up.
go there. Okay.
So for your past alerts, you would actually potentially still have them in there and they might just be red, like they're no longer active.
I think so. That's what I noticed. Yes.
Okay, so you can
'Cause I
turn
see
them
it sits here.
on
let's
again.
see. I'm just going to double check, Leah, just before you go to the next step. So should I go into those alerts?
You can, yeah. So that's over
Oh,
here.
they
the
actually show
alarm
they're
clock,
active. Should I disable them and reset maybe?
if you want to.
Okay, so I would delete that then. Remove. Okay, I'm going to remove it. Maybe that's part of it too. Maybe I've tried resetting it and I already had the old one still in there. Okay, I'm following along now.
Okay. So actually this is interesting. This must have been from an older version. So for a 1 minute TDI shift, your settings, let's just set a new one. So
Okay.
I'm gonna right click on my TDI and I'm gonna add an alert on my DeLorean TDI.
Okay.
I'm going to tell it that on the DeLorean TDI, because that's what I'm setting the alert on,
Okay.
when my fast moving average, but for you, because yours is opposite, you're going to say slow moving average.
Slow moving average. Okay.
So when the fast moving average crosses, I want it anyway, but you can have all of these different options in setting your
Crossing. Okay.
alert. And I don't want it to be based on a value. I want it to be again on my DeLorean TDI.
DeLorean TDI. Okay.
And when it crosses the middle band, because that's the
Middle band. Okay. Okay,
and I
got
want
that.
it to happen once per bar close.
Okay.
It's going to expire next month for me.
Okay.
And then I like to tell it, what is this? So this is a 1 minute TDI shift.
Okay.
US 30. Oh, this is on Bitcoin.
Right. Okay. No, that sounds good.
And then I delete all of this and you can
Right.
choose how you want to receive it. So you could also get an email. You can, if you have your phone logged into TradingView as well, you could get like pop-ups and notifications from your phone version of
Okay.
of TradingView sending you alerts as well.
Okay.
So you say create,
Okay.
and then now whenever I get a TDI shift on the 1 minute chart for BTC, there you go. See, my alert just came up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They have a different, let's see here, maybe mine. I'm just going to reload mine and see what it did there. I saved it. Okay, so I'll watch for that now. And then I could do the same for the 5 minutes. Just do the same settings, but on the 5.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to try. So mine, looks like mine was the opposite. And I think what I did is I changed it because in one training video at some point, I read that it was supposed to be the other way around compared to yours, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you did the video. It was just somewhere along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so I think this will make a difference. This should be the correct setting now.
Okay. Whoever like controls the inputs of that, I guess somewhere they've just changed the language on them. So just know
Right.
2 is actually faster, but whatever it says, you want it to match your indicator.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. I'm going to
Shelley,
practice with it now.
excellent. Shelley wants to know about the replay option. So this is a option that is for members with a paid subscription. And you can go back in time and review candles based on our replay for your strategy. So if I wanted to take it back to, let's say, November 2nd at, I don't know, 1 o'clock. I'm going to go to that section. Need to find price. I'm just gonna, oopsies. Oh, okay. Doing this. Okay. And I can.
Leah, that's where if you hit auto, it brings it back up on your screen.
Sorry. Oh yeah, thank you. So now it's replaying at 1 times speed from that date and time on my candle or on my chart, pardon me. And you can adjust how fast or slow you want it to go. But that's what the replay feature does. So for people who are maybe doing back testing, and that's different than homework, thank you. Teresa has shared with me the clarity on that. When you're back testing, looking for a specific type of entry or specific, what am I trying to say? Maybe a specific exit or something like that, then you can use replay and go through the candles faster than they paint in real time. Is there anything else I can cover for you guys quickly?
Okay, doesn't sound like there's anybody that's got any questions, so I got a couple.
Okay.
Mike referred to consolidation a couple of times. What is that?
Yes. So it's when candles are basically ranging. They're getting stuck in an area. So you can see over here, like price really kind of just stays in an area for a long period of time. It hasn't really picked a direction. The same thing on the 1 minute. You can see how the candles are really just dancing around and staying stuck to all of these EMAs, and the EMAs are getting tighter and tighter together. So it's like the buyers are all trying to push price up in this area, and the sellers are trying to push price down, and it's just kind of accumulating a bunch of orders in this area. So it's not a really good time to trade in, because you'll find that you'll end up taking a lot of losses, thinking like here, for instance, we thought, oh, this might want to go up. This was really nice MES over here, and then price really only went up to TP1 and then reversed and came back down, and then got held along these EMAs for a long period of time. And on the TDI, you can see that the Bollinger Bands also have narrowed in this time. So that indicates that they're ranging in an area of consolidation. So that's why it's been hard for us, for even demonstration purposes, to take a trade where I could show you any real movement or getting my stop loss into profit, because price really hasn't picked any direction. It's just kind of like hanging out in this zone. And this is
Okay, good.
One of the things that, like I say, that I look for when I think that price is ranging on the 1 minute. Look and see, was there a master candle on the 5 minute? Because that's telling me this is like a trap zone. I can already see that all of these candles in here got trapped in the zone, and it just looks like, 5 times more candles on the 1 minute, but it's all indecision. Okay,
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So second question, you mentioned TP1 and I heard TP4. What is TP?
It stands for take profit. It's your take profit level.
Why are they labeled 1 and I guess 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Because those are sort of the areas that we're looking for price that it may want to go to.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to pause myself for a second and deal with the dogs. Well, they're super muddy now, so they had fun. Okay, well, I think that's probably all I can really show you guys today, because it is still continuing to just range. I hope that you guys got some value from the sessions that we've done here. Oh, Deanna, thank you so much. I really appreciate every single one of you being here and spending some time with me this weekend. And I know that there's a lot of people who didn't get to be a part of yesterday, whether it was for the time changes or different things happening. But I have recorded both sessions, so I will probably piece some things together and maybe create some tutorials from that, and probably edit a couple of pieces, because we had little like meeting where we were just chatting casually, but I'll cut that out and try to get some stuff out to you guys as soon as I can, and hopefully it's helpful for Teresa as well, and you know, the different things that she's going to be doing. Yeah, little tutorials. I think it could be really helpful because so many people have felt similar feelings of frustration and feeling lost and not knowing where to go for the answers. And so I think as well, based on your guys' feedback, and if you know newer people who could benefit from learning a little bit more about TradingView, I'll probably do some evening sessions as well. And they'll probably do the beginning stuff again, like the just understanding all of the different menus and how to walk through different things and setting your favorites and shortcuts in TradingView. But I appreciate you all so much. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning on the call with Teresa.
See you during the week. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Leah.
Bye.